Well, we're certainly very, very excited to be playing in our 14th consecutive NCAA tournament. That is in itself is a tremendous accomplishment for this program. I believe it's, if I'm accurate with this, that it's the fourth longest current streak of NCAA tournament play consecutively. So that speaks to the consistency of the level of our program and what we're playing at. We're very, very proud the fact that we're going to be playing next weekend. You know, I'm extremely proud of our ball club, you know, throughout this whole year. To be going into the NCAA tournament with 42 wins is very, very exciting. We're looking forward to the opportunity to go to TCU in Fort Worth. You know, this team, at least since I've been here, we have not traveled there, and but we have played TCU, certainly at times in Omaha. You know, I'm sure y'all want to hear about the disappointment of not hosting. We dealt with that last night. The decision was made, and you know, it created a tremendous opportunity for our team. Certainly, when you have worked hard for something and you believe that you've put yourself in a position to do something and it doesn't happen for you, there's going to be disappointment and disbelief. But you know, I talked to our guys this morning. We had a team meeting this morning, and we talked about all the great things that the young men who wear our uniform have going for them in this program, and the great opportunities that we have for wherever the NCAA sends us. And you know, we're excited to be going to Fort Worth. Dallas Baptist, I know their coach very well. They are very, very well coached. You look at the last 3 years or so, they've won right up there as many games as anybody in this country. They have experience playing in the NCAA tournament. I know nothing about their team this year yet. Certainly we'll look at that over the next 24 hours. The only thing I do know is that they win, and they win a lot, and they know how to win. And I know that they're very well coached. So I'm sure it'll be a tremendous task for us in game one, but an opportunity that we're looking forward to. Yes.
Obviously, the last time you were shipped out, it worked out pretty well for you guys.
Yeah, sure did.
Do you hear the guys as soon as that news comes in? Were they talking about, hey, you know, this has worked out well for us in the past?
Well, I didn't really talk to them last night. I mean, last night I was at home. We all weren't together. They were, you know, I'm sure they were with each other, and you know, they're mature. They've been through things before. They can handle this, you know, but. You know, certainly they know the stories of the past. You know, they know what we did in 2015. They've heard the story of 2009 of going out to Irvine and what that, you know, trail took us and where it ended and how everything went with that. So they're familiar with the past of Virginia baseball and what has happened in those cases. So you know, they're grown ups. They understand what the situation is, and they'll handle it. Yeah.
You know, and different things and the reaction to it.
Yeah.
How do you talked about when you guys met this morning, did you address that type of stuff that like, you can't let this play on you, you still got a game to play? How do you manage that?
You know what? I don't mind how maybe some of them reacted last night. I mean, they're competitors. They've got a serious competitive spirit about them. They want to win. When you feel like you have earn something in your own eyes, you know, over a long period of time, you feel like you deserve something, it doesn't happen, you're frustrated and disappointed. That's life, you know, and, you know, they have the freedom to be able to voice that, and, you know, some of them I know did last night, and so I'm okay with that. But now we're removed from that. We're 12 hours removed from that, and we got to be men and handle it and look at what of a great opportunity this is for us moving forward. And we have no choice but to look at it that way. And so, you know, I'm not going to sit up here or ever, you know, talk down about the decision makers or how this happened and things. It happens. You know, the reality is, if you want to break it down, we put ourselves on the edge of possibly not getting to host. Okay. That said, I felt like we were worthy, but you know, we got a great opportunity in front of us.
When we talked to you the other day,
Yes,
you seemed really confident.
I did.
You were going to get it.
Yeah, sure.
What was your level of surprise last night?
I was shocked. I mean, maybe that's the right word. And you know, I just feel like the way that we played the last 2 months of the season, you know, to clearly finish in 4th place in this league, a league that of 5 hosts. You know, I would understand if we sputtered down the stretch or something like that. But and I knew there were a couple of things potentially working against us. You know, our non-conference RPI and things like that. You know, sometimes those things are in your control. Sometimes they're out of your control. You know, we'll be certainly. You know, and that comes and goes from one year to the next. You know, sometimes you can control a little bit of that. Sometimes you can't. And so, but you know, feeling like you know you're in 4th place over a body of work of 30 ACC games, I felt like was enough, but it obviously wasn't.
Ryan, advantages of playing at home are
Yeah.
obvious. You've talked about it over the years.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything about going on the road? I don't know if it's better, but it's good.
I'll say this, Jeff. The disappointing thing for me about not being able to host is for our fans. We've got a really special baseball community here that just loves these players and the way they play the game, and they come out and really support us. And you know, we've got some exciting things going on in the future in our facility and things like that. I'm just disappointed for our fans, and you know, disappointed for our players that they didn't get another opportunity to play in front of our fans. But you know what? Who knows? This has happened before where we've been able to flip it, and a week later we're back playing at home. So we'll see what happens there. But you know, there's glaringly advantages to playing at home. Your fans, you know how the ballpark plays. You're sleeping in your own bed. All those kind of things. That said, you know the statistics. You know, they talked about them on ESPN today. It's just over a 50% rate of being able to advance to Omaha, and that's what rate we are. Twice we have, twice we haven't coming out of here. So, you know, one thing, you know, we can look at and say, hey, we're going down to Fort Worth. We're going to be really loose. We're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to compete, and you know, we don't have any pressure on us because the message was sent last night that we were not worthy of being one of those number 1 seeds.
Guys knowing the history of, 2 years ago or whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, like Peyton, Adam, Ernie, Robbie,
Yeah.
they played in those games.
Sure.
How much value maybe is that experience of having gone through this?
Well, I think there's a ton of value when you're talking about those juniors and seniors on this ball club that experienced in 2015 going out to Lake Elsinore, and you know what we went through to win that one, and you know what we went through to get to Omaha. And so you know they can impart some great wisdom on some of these new players and some of the young players about that. Listen, just because you're not hosting doesn't mean that you can't continue on and play the next weekend and then beyond. So I think that's where leadership steps in, you know, and I know they're disappointed, but they're through that and they're ready to go down and play baseball.
There was an interview. Do you have an update on Paisley and Murdoch? Will either of them be available for you in regional?
Yeah, I don't have an update. We did not practice today, but I expect within the next 2 days I'll know exactly whether or not they'll be of any help. I don't think there's any chance of Murdoch pitching.
Looking at the schedules for the other ACC teams,
Yes.
it appears that your non-conference schedule is consistent with the way other teams
Mm-hmm.
in the ACC schedule their non-conference games. Does this make you think you need to change anything, or
I don't know. I mean,
what was so weak about your schedule that wasn't weak about Clemson or Wake or?
well, I mean, you know, a lot of it has to do with your geographical location. right? I mean, we can't jump on an airplane and fly and play an SEC team in the middle of the week. We can't miss school, right? I mean, you don't have the ability to jump on a bus and go 2 hours away and play, an SEC team or something like that. Okay, so this is always by the committee is always a knock on the northern schools and northeast schools. They say it's tough for them to have a really good RPI because of the non-conference schedule. So it is what it is. The only thing that we could do in the future is prior to the ACC starting, we could go on the road and play at LSU for 3 games the opening weekend and play at Arkansas the next weekend. Okay. That said, I don't know that that's the right thing for us to do for our fans either. We got a lot of season ticket holders that are passionate about Virginia baseball. So, hey, listen, when decisions are made, people can twist it whatever way they want to make it look like the right decision was made. Okay? So, I choose to look at how great we played for an serious extended period of time at what I believe is the most important time.
Did you think you might go, speaking of fans, did you think you might get to Kentucky?
Not necessarily. I mean, I know that was kind of rampant out there of the prognosticators. I don't know. I mean, maybe people just thought of that because of, because of the geographical location, and stuff. But, I don't know why. I'll say this. It's baffled me for years why we don't seed the entire tournament. Okay? It's Virginia is a 2 seed, and let's hypothetically say we're one of the better 2 seeds out there in the tournament. I don't think we should be going to a national seed. And I don't say that for Virginia. I say that to protect the national seed. If you're trying to seed this tournament and you're picking the 8 teams, the 8 national seeds that they believe should go to Omaha, then we should be doing as a tournament the best way to protect those 8 teams. So I'm not, I don't quite understand that. We seem to pound our chest and be very, very proud that the NCAA tournament makes in the ballpark of $10 million a year. All right, it seems to be that then should warrant a true seeding of this tournament. That said, I'm not complaining. That's just a overall thought that a lot of people have had for years. That has nothing to do with where we're going, our seed, hosting this year, not hosting. I just think that's a flaw in the system, that if we really want to do this thing right, and you look across this country and you look at the investments that some of these athletic departments are making in their college baseball programs, I think it warrants it.
Virginia Tech AD is on the committee. Do you want to personally blame him? So we have a really great
No, I don't know him. I mean, I don't, I don't know how those committees work and things like that. I don't, I mean, the decisions are made, but these are more things I don't, what I'm talking about doesn't have to do with this year. This is something that I think that needs to be looked at if we want our tournament to grow and be the best that it can be moving forward.
2009 was a similar quote-unquote snub situation.
Yeah.
You would actually even have the RPI, you win the ACC tournament, and they send you to
Right.
that regional depth and things like that. Do you see parallels here? And is that frustrating that you talked about how you can always spin it to make it look like
Yeah.
that's the year? I mean, how do you kind of
Yeah.
compare those two? Because both times it's kind of opposite approaches.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I believe coming out of the ACC tournament in 2009, our RPI was 6th. So that's what I'm talking about. You wish at some point there would be some kind of consistency with the measurements that are used to determine this field and the seeding and things like that.
When you went in 15, one advantage you did have though was you had Connor, who was real consistent that year. You
Yeah.
had all that experience,
Right.
which sure made you feel pretty confident.
Sure.
In that 2-3 game, which is a real competitive game.
Yeah.
Lynch and Casey don't have that kind of experience. They've been can be inconsistent at times.
Yeah.
What is your feeling going into that kind of matchup? Because that's the other side of not being a host is you don't get that 4 seed round.
Yeah, you don't. But I'll say this: the only way that Lynch and Casey get that kind of experience is by going out and doing it, right? Jones and Waddell got the experience and gained the experience by them at some point having that opportunity. So it'll be great opportunities for those guys. If you look at the way that Lynch and Casey threw last weekend, I thought they both threw great baseball. And with our bullpen, I think that we're in great shape. So I think every year's different. Certainly our path to win a regional this year might be a little bit different than maybe it's had to been in the past with what we might have to do with our pitching. We're going to have to take some chances, right? And hopefully it works out for us.
You talked about the fact that you guys can calculate the little break a little loose because you aren't the 1 seed.
Mhm.
You see this team bounce back from disappointment before
Yeah.
and playing lights out like against Clemson this past weekend.
Yeah.
After losing the Kansas Sweep series, can you use this disappointment maybe to kind of create that same urgency and that edge going into the championship?
Yeah, we'll see. Baseball's a tough game. I mean, you lose games. It's about getting hot, right? It's about getting hot and the ball bouncing your way a little bit. And some people might say, "Well, yeah, but you can make your own breaks and things like that." I know that, okay? But if you go back and look at any of our tournament runs, we played very good baseball for a short period of time in spurts on a weekend, and you can look back to every regional, super regional, College World Series game. There's some play that's made. There's some pitch that's made. There's something that happens that it kind of goes your way a little bit, all right? So you got to be good, and I think that we're really good, and you got to have some good fortune. So, I'm not going to, with the team, use this as a motivator, right? We've got a great program. All right, our guys are really good players. They believe in themselves. We've got a good team. I don't believe that we need to have added motivation. Playing in this program is enough motivation to represent what they have on the front of their jersey, and I know they're looking forward to that opportunity.